Welcome to your doom.
We welcome people to their doom.
Yeah, this is the Welcome to Your Doom show. We are your harbingers of doom, Otto.
I'm Justin.
And we are going to talk about a myriad of stuff, I think. There's a bunch of things. San Diego Comic-Con is going on right now, so we're going to talk about some of that stuff. But first, before we get into that, I want to tell everybody what I've been up to.
I'd love to know, too, because I don't even know.
Yeah. So this week on Tuesday, I went to see Crawl. Yeah, sorry. I was thinking of the director's name. I think his name is Alexandre Aja, and I'm probably not pronouncing that right, but he's a French filmmaker. He's done movies like... Yeah, I think the movie that made him famous was a movie called High Tension, which is a French like extreme horror film, extremism, like it's very violent and super intense. Good movie, though. Then I think he made his big American break with Piranha 3D.
Yeah.
And then The Hills Have Eyes. I think The Hills Have Eyes came out before Piranha 3D. So The Hills Have Eyes was a remake of a Wes Craven movie. And that was very good. He's definitely got this like some of his movies are kind of nasty. Like in terms of like they're a little like almost like a little mean spirited.
Yeah.
You know? So
I don't like those.
It's not overt. It's not I wouldn't say that. If you've watched The Hills Have Eyes, the original, or The Hills Have Eyes remake, they both have
eyes.
They both have hills. So they've got that going for them. But it's a very intense ride, and it has something to say about America and the United States, but it does it in a way that really just like it's a real nail biting sort of tension building and then gore filled. So it's not really for everybody. Back to Crawl. It was just a little bit on Alexandre Aja because I think he's actually pretty talented. He made a movie called Horns as well. I don't know if you ever saw that or not, with Daniel Radcliffe, based on a novel by Joe Hill. Which wasn't bad. It wasn't great, but you can see that he's like getting his bearings and he's getting better. Crawl is fantastic. It is a fantastic creature feature movie. It's 87 minutes long. Okay, it knows exactly what the audience is there for. It sets up all of its characters. It sets up the situation, and then it just builds the tension, and the effects are great. One of the things about movies about natural disasters because I don't know, in case you guys don't know, Crawl takes place in Florida while there's a hurricane happening, and a house gets flooded, but along with that flood, they also get a bunch of alligators in the house. So it sounds super hokey. This sounds like Sharknado, right? But it's the exact opposite of Sharknado. I'm a big creature feature fan. Right? I like a good monster movie. I even like cheesy monster movies. I hate the Sharknado films.
Really?
They are genuinely awful. They are not genuine at all. They're not they're made as a joke, right? There's no love, there's no care, there's nothing put into those. You can watch a movie like that and then watch a movie like Lake Placid, for example, which is a dark comedy, and the difference is night and day. Sharknado is not. It's made as a joke. It's almost like the filmmakers are laughing at the audience.
I wouldn't go that far.
I saw the first one and it was genuinely awful. There's no
it's
love.
Not good.
There's no. But like, there's a difference between something being good,
yeah.
and something where there was no real like love put into it. Like that, there's a difference there. It's like when you get food at a restaurant, and then you get food made by your mother, which I thoroughly enjoy.
Don't you do it? We have a running joke of making fun of each other's mothers constantly, and we're not doing that on this podcast.
But
that was a really wide opening for it.
But it's that's the difference, right? It's like food made with love versus food made with the goal of being like, oh, did you like that? Here's a copy of that, and we're doing that, and we're assembling it in like in like trying to mimic it.
Okay.
Like there's no love there. So like examples I could give like as an alternative to Sharknado is like Abominable, Lake Placid. Those two movies come to mind like right away.
Right.
Movies like Tremors, like horror comedies that are good, that are well written, well acted. The effects are good. Like Sharknado's effects are awful.
Oh no, it's
right?
bad across the board.
The acting is bad across the board.
Across the board.
It's written. It's written in a way that is almost like it's like condescending. That's the point. And I hate that. I absolutely hate that.
You know what? Here's the difference: is I think that like a film like Abominable or stuff, it's made for horror fans, and the humor that comes in it's kind of the tongue-in-cheek kind of stuff that plays into what horror fans would appreciate. Whereas something like Sharknado is like made for everybody. I would say it's more. I would say it's way more on the comedy side, and I think that they're trying to be even more silly and ridiculous than they are to try to cater to the horror genre in any way, shape, or form.
But the problem is they're not trying to make a good movie.
No,
that's
yeah.
And that's my problem, right?
True.
Every one of those other movies, everyone is trying to make a good movie. Right? And that's the difference. They are not trying to make a good movie. They're trying to make an awful movie. They're trying to replicate a bunch of people trying to make a good movie who end up with not a great movie, but is still lovable in that way, in that A for effort kind of way. And I think that I think genuinely Abominable. I think like these movies are not bad movies.
No,
I guess what I mean to say is that they're
low budget.
They're lower budget.
You've got to distinguish between what's a bad movie and what's a low budget movie. Abominable, I would not classify as a bad movie. I think it's definitely campy.
Yeah.
And it's definitely tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
And it's certainly low budget, but it's not something that's a bad film.
No,
Sharknado
not at all.
is a bad film, and it just plays into that.
But it was made to be one.
Absolutely.
And I can't. That's the part. That's the thing I can't respect. I don't like when a crew comes together to be like, we're going to try to replicate this, this type of this like niche crowd by trying to make a bad movie. You only get that special niche when you try to make a good movie, right? Because there's a difference between the two.
See, that's the problem though, is what you're saying is not what's in reality, is because a lot of people like this fucking Sharknado series, and it makes them a ton of money, or at least they're successful enough to continue making stupid ones from that same studio that keeps making all these nonsense mockbusters. Instead of a blockbuster, it's a mockbuster.
A mockbuster. Yeah,
I think that's the actual term. Or either that, or I just made something up that I should patent.
Yeah. No. I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. I can't respect it. I just like because I guess the reason I feel like I needed to explain myself because I am a huge Creature Feature fan.
Yeah.
Like I'm a big monster movie fan. But I hate the Sharknado movie. So I feel like that required some kind of explanation.
Yeah.
Which actually isn't about what coming back to Crawl, which is how we sort of started on all this. I'm a couple beers in. Can you tell? I'm just like ranting like a maniac right now.
Don't worry, I'll be finished this wine soon, buddy.
I'm sorry. Let's get back to Crawl. This is a great movie. This is not a campy film.
No.
Right? This is the premise is taken 100% seriously, and the tension is ratcheted up here. The editing is fantastic. The sound, the acting is all on point. They're basically they're super focused.
Yes.
This movie is very focused and delivers on its premise as an 87-minute pure wall-to-wall thrill ride, right? I would compare it to another movie which I liked a lot called The Shallows. I don't know if you ever actually watched that.
I've never heard of it.
Blake Lively.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
So, yeah, no inner monologue. So Blake Lively, who you've met before.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is weird. Is a surfer and in a remote part of Mexico, I think, and she gets attacked by a shark while she's surfing, but she gets stuck and marooned on this like rock in this coral reef that come high tide at night it'll disappear, but she's only about 100 yards from the shore, and this shark is circling her the entire time. So it's a very short movie. It's very to the point. It's a survival film in the same vein as Crawl. So actually, those two as a double feature, it would be fantastic. Two very short movies, but the tension and thrills are ratcheted up. Great effects in both movies.
Yeah.
So, and some of the kills in Crawl are just fantastic. So yeah, I highly recommend it. It's, I don't know if, I mean, I know that this type of movie is not everybody's thing, but like this, it doesn't get as pure and distilled as this. And the craft is at an ultimate high in this movie. The craft is right up there. The last thing I'm going to mention about this, and we'll move on. One of the things about movies that have natural disasters, actually not natural, storms. Like when there are storms in movies, they're rarely ever believable to me.
Right.
I think they always look very fake. This movie has an extremely convincing hurricane. It is a character in the movie.
Cool.
The way it's presented, and the sets and the effects are all done in such a way that it is very believable what is happening, and that's a contribution of the sound, the acting, and the sets and the effects. It's all just really, really comes together. So yeah, Crawl, man, that I was very, very pleasantly surprised by that film.
I think it's actually a prequel to this other movie that I just saw is coming out.
Lion King?
No, not The Lion King.
The only animal movie you need to see this weekend with CG animals in it is Crawl. Go see Crawl.
Zombie Tidal Wave is the actual thing that it's.
Oh,
it's also made by Big Sam.
Yeah,
that's why.
You know what? Oh my god! And that's why it was in my head, because like right after Crawl on these news websites, there was Zombie Tidal Wave, and it's the same makers from Sharknado. And I think it's the same actor from
all of it
from not 90210, Saved by the Bell, right? Or is it 90210? It's 90210. Yeah. Man,
it's ridiculous.
Guys, cut the shit.
Man.
They're hopping on the wave.
You know why? They're not
Crawl
hopping on the wave. I mean, technically, Crawl is, it's an original one.
Yeah, but they're like, it's back in.
Stuff. Yeah,
they're back.
Crawl really hopped on the wave here.
No.
Come on.
No.
Come on.
No. No.
No, I'm honestly not going to give a fucking Tidal Wave movie much more than just a mention.
I saw that. I literally actually saw that.
It looks horrible.
I saw that headline, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not even clicking on this. Like, I don't want them to even have my click.
No.
I do not want them to have anything. Anyway, so moving on. I finished the second season of a show called The Sinner with Bill Pullman. Bill Pullman, fantastic actor. I'm a massive fan of Bill Pullman.
I like me some Bill Pullman.
The Sinner first season was with Jessica Biel. And she kills somebody on the beach, stabs them to death, and Bill Pullman is the detective that comes in to investigate. And sort of the whole thing unravels as to what led up to that murder.
Okay.
And this is the second season is very similar. It's just as good, if not better, than the first season. Beautifully shot, incredibly well acted, incredibly well written, and kind of does the whole nothing is really what it seems, but not in a twisty, turny, Alfred Hitchcocky kind of way. It's more of it's actually a drama that unfolds that is very believable. It's not a twist sort of ending in the way like a lot of like it's not like an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
I got you to say it.
The Shyamalan twist.
The Shyamalan twist?
Yeah, because he invented it. I
didn't say he invented it. I'm just saying he's the most prominent user of it. I'm telling you, if you say twist ending to anybody, they're going to bring up a Shyamalan film first. And maybe The Usual Suspects.
The Usual Suspects. The Bryan Singer twist.
The Bryan Singer twist. And that was the only movie he really did a big twist.
Yeah, well, I mean, he convinced everyone he was going to finish filming Bohemian Rhapsody, and then he left.
Well, that was a different type of twist. He had to twist his ass out of there before he got Me Too'd too.
That's right. So yeah, The Sinner, if you guys haven't watched that, it's a great, great TV show, and I just don't think enough people know about it.
Yeah.
Throw in the first episode of the first season. If you're not hooked, I'll give you $5.
You gonna PayPal people?
Yeah, I'm gonna pay. Not PayPal. I'm gonna e-transfer. These are all Canadian, right? All the people.
We've got some American listeners.
Oh, do we?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Well, I can e-transfer over the board.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know how that's gonna help our Mexican listeners, though.
We'll send you some pesos too.
Yeah.
We'll do the conversion.
That's right.
We'll round down.
I got 2 more points. I can go all day.
No, I wanted to talk about the Kevin Smith trailer, the fucking Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
All right.
Because So I've been watching some of the trailers that have come out from Comic-Con, and I saw it. It was cool. What other ones did I see? I basically saw a little bit of the Shudder one. It looked pretty cool. Or not Shudder, Creepshow.
Creepshow.
On Shudder.
Yep.
It looked cool.
Yep.
But none of these trailers that I've seen thus far has made me so happy as the Jay and Silent Bob one.
That was entertaining.
It was fun. It was uncensored. Like, it was
Yeah.
our Red Band trailer. So.
Was it ever?
Yeah. I mean, it basically starts off with Jay coming out of what seems to be a cannabis store and I think is robbing them. And he gets stopped by the cops and he decides to whip out whip down his pants, but not whip out his thing because he tucks it in. And there's just this ridiculous exchange between him and the cops.
Yeah.
It's unapologetically silly, very much like the very first Jay and Silent Bob. And I fucking, like, that's one of my favorite films probably of all. Like, top 10 favorite films of all time. I don't know why. It shouldn't be there.
It shouldn't be there.
It shouldn't be there. But it's just so much fun. Like, to me, it's like an Adam Sandler film that I feel like is actually trying.
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
Because
to your point of, like, talking about the B-list horror movies. B-movie horror.
Yeah.
Or B-movie horror movies.
B horror films.
B horror films. They are trying to make a fun and good movie.
Trying to make a fun movie.
Yeah, something that's not just catering to the bottom line. It's something that they want to make. They have a vision of whatever it is. Whereas I feel like Sandler, to his credit, I mean, fuck, the guy's a stud in terms of being able to get people to watch his films.
Yeah.
But
and signing deal after deal after deal.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
He's very smart. But the thing is he makes films that in my mind is like, you know what? Let's write some standard gags that'll get a few cheap laughs. Yeah. And then we'll just go, me and my friends will go to a place and film and party for the next 3 weeks or 4 weeks.
That is a great segue, because honestly, what we was talking about with Sharknado, there's no craft.
Yeah.
There's no craft. This is exactly, now you understand what I'm trying to explain.
Saying. Yeah. But the thing is,
because that's exactly like Grown Ups 1 and 2. For example, were just a reason for them to go to a cabin, like a cottage, and just party.
Absolutely.
For 4 weeks while they brought their whole families with them.
Yep.
Just to hang out, and
and it's probably pretty low in terms of cost, and they make a huge return. I mean, the same way with these Sharknado movies and any of these films that basically do kind of thing. It's like, let's just, we know what people want. We'll give it to them. We'll spoon feed them whatever it is they want. Yeah. And we'll make a movie and have some fun with it and make some money on it. So.
Yeah, but Anaconda versus is like Snakes on a Plane. Like, there's a difference. They were trying to make a ridiculous movie. Anaconda was like, I want to make a real creature feature. Right?
One was bad and the other was bad. So
one was awful.
Yeah.
The other one was
had Sam Jackson
wonderful.
in it.
Was wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah. No. I mean, Anaconda's a great creature feature.
It's pretty fun.
It's a B movie.
Did you ever see Blood Orchid?
I saw the second one.
Oh my god.
I thought the second one was actually equally as entertaining as the first one.
We were playing this is a weird story, but like
search for the Blood Orchid. And they called it Anacondas. They're like, we are the aliens to the alien of Anaconda. Yeah. They're like, first one was called Anaconda. We're going to call ours Anacondas. And I'm like, guys, settle the fuck down. Okay? This isn't the Alien franchise, but hey, they gave it a good shot. Morris Chestnut was in it, so that was
the second one.
In the second one, yeah.
Oh, I don't
he
remember
gets
him.
Somebody takes the venom from a plant or a spider and like taps him with it, so he gets paralyzed and he can't move. And one of the anacondas eats him while he's paralyzed, and he can't move. It's actually quite frightening. It's a terrifying prospect.
4.6 score on IMDb for
buddy. You know what? People don't know what they're talking about. I bet you the same people gave Sharknado a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, it's probably pretty highly rated. I'll look it up.
That's
after.
A complete assumption
but
on my part. I'm belligerently drunk right now. So.
Me and a bunch of friends, we went to Vegas actually, and we got this it was a bunch of friends that we haven't hung out in like a year, and we were all close through university. And it was just like this one thing, like, let's all go to Vegas. We all go to Vegas. Yeah. And we get this really nice hotel room, huge, and it's big enough for like the 10 or 12 of us between that and another room we got. It's all adjoined. It's like big party room. We get in, we're like, all right, where do we want to go? Where do we want to do this, that? We just start pre-drinking before we go out. We stayed there the entire time. It was just like a shit show of like drinking games and catching up, and it was just a lot of fun. We ended up turning blood hunt for the blood orchid because that was the only thing we could find on TV. And we started taking bets, and we turned it into a drinking game. So we're like, what's going to happen next? And that was it. And then we'd be like, all right, I'm in for that. And we'd start... Basically, then we made a bet where who's going to kill the last anaconda? And I bet on the right guy.
Yeah.
And he was such a bitch for the most of the movie that nobody was like, they're like, yo, he's the next one to die. What are you saying? And then he won, and I was the king. I was the king of the castle. I felt so good.
See? Anacondas, man.
Anacondas. It was not a good movie at all. It was one of the worst movies I've ever seen. It's nowhere near the masterpiece of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
So Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, coming back to that, it has a ton of cameos in it.
Yeah.
And it looks fun. Everyone has aged. Except for Kevin Smith, who seems to have de-aged.
Well, that was his heart attack.
Yeah,
exactly.
That de-aged him. Exactly.
He's lost massive heart attack.
He's lost a ton of weight. Everyone else has gotten much like Shannon Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Is in that trailer, and you look at her and you're like, oh man. It's come a long way since American Pie.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Oh man. I forgot that was like her. Was that her first really big break?
I believe so. Yeah. And then she was in a couple of movies. She was in like 13 Ghosts after that. Like a couple of she had. I feel like it was a couple of horror movies.
Yeah.
After that.
Shit. It's been 2001 was when Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. It's been almost 20 years. It's crazy.
Wow, yeah. No, there seems to be a lot of good stuff in that, and I'm kind of excited. Val Kilmer taking off the mask as Blunt Man.
Yeah.
I don't know who's playing.
I couldn't tell.
It's Blunt Man and Chronic, right?
Yeah,
so I don't know who's playing Chronic. They must be listed somewhere by now because I saw her face and I couldn't recognize her.
Jason Mewes, Melissa Benoit.
Oh, that's Supergirl.
Yeah.
Oh, it didn't even look like her in that.
No,
it was a very brief.
Yeah, it was
a very brief show.
That's awesome.
And there's an interesting connection between those two because Kevin Smith has directed a few episodes of Supergirl.
For sure, The Flash. I don't know about Supergirl.
Oh, he directed.
He might have. He's been involved with some of the CW. Definitely. I know for a fact he's done The Flash, but he very well could have.
Okay, it's
done
possible.
An episode or two of that.
Yeah, that's right.
That's actually not a bad segue too. They Arrow's wrapping up, and they're featuring him on like Entertainment Weekly or something like that. But they're also like because they're ramping that down, and I'm really behind on the CW shows, but they're also ramping up Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah, dude, there's a lot of Crisis on Infinite Earths. I saw some images of the Monitor, and I like the way they've done the Monitor. Mm-hmm. Like, the dude's got the hair.
Yeah,
like the way it's like the hair looks like the helmet of the Monitor from the comic books. It's pretty cool, and they're giving Supergirl pants.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Season. Yeah,
right.
It looks pretty good actually. Like it looks like organic. Like it doesn't look like it's forced or anything like that. No, it looks cool.
I'm woefully behind on the CW shows.
I haven't seen any of them. I haven't seen any of them, and it seems odd because that seems to be like the best place to get your like DC Comics fix
pretty much
at this point, and I've completely ignored it. And not because I think it's bad. It's more of like it just seems too big to get into. There's just too much. It's like that, TV show syndrome where it's like, oh, I want to get into this TV show. Like it's 13 seasons long. It's like, you know what? No thanks.
13 seasons, 21 episodes each season.
Yeah.
Hour-long episodes.
Yeah.
It's a lot. But you know what? It is a good background thing because, I mean, there's a lot of, like, quirky dialogue and, there's some relationship shit that isn't so big in terms of, like, the grand overall story.
Sure, yeah.
So you can kind of, like, for me, it's not a hard thing to keep on in the background.
Yeah.
I blasted through whatever the last season I saw of Arrow was because it was basically playing on in the background when I was watching it. But The Flash is a little bit more... I feel like there's more going on. There's more characters I actually give a shit about in The Flash than I do with Arrow.
What about Legends of Tomorrow? That one looks like one I want to watch the entire time, like not watch any of the other. Not because I think they're bad. It's more of like the Legends of Tomorrow speaks my language a little bit, and it's absolutely ridiculous premise.
Yeah, a lot of time traveling, a lot of random one-off episodes and characters. Like
Firestorm. I've been a big Firestorm fan when I was a kid.
Yeah,
and
he's good.
Firestorm has been like one of my favorite. In fact, like the fact that they focus on, I remember like during the Blackest Night, they focus on Firestorm a lot.
He was huge
during that, and that one scene that they have with Firestorm and his girlfriend getting killed by the Black Lantern version of the Firestorm. Because anyway,
it was the
split.
zombie Ronnie and zombie. I can't remember what the other guy's name
Professor
is.
Stein.
No, it wasn't Professor
not
Stein.
Professor Raymond. I forgot the original Firestorm's name, but he got put into the Firestorm Matrix, so he
basically
was sharing
the dead guy and the living guy are in one Matrix
that was
together,
so
and
cool.
the dead guy kills the living guy's girlfriend.
Turns her into salt.
Yeah.
I was
Sodium
like, that
something,
is
whatever. Sodium
crazy.
bicarbonate.
Yeah, that was just crazy. That was a crazy scene. But I've been a Firestorm. I've always liked his design and stuff. So just to see him that he's on that show,
And they're good because it's you know the actor's name. I can't remember that plays Professor Stein.
Victor Garber.
He's incredible.
So
He's great.
Victor Garber is the guy who did the voice of Sinestro in
Yes.
Green Lantern First Flight, and he's great. I like him as an actor. He's been in a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, he's great in the show. It's
yeah.
of all the shows, I'd probably recommend that one the most to you because
Yeah.
I think that would be up your alley.
Yeah.
Flash is really good too.
Yeah, I've seen it. Shogu and I watched a couple of episodes of The Flash. It's just I got to get into it, but
Yeah.
especially with this. Whenever we get together with my cousin Raman, like he's always like, have you
he's big on that
seen
stuff.
like Crisis? So what was it before? It was Crisis on Two Earths.
Two Earths, yeah.
Yeah,
It was
Crisis
between
on
that
Two Earths.
and whatever one has Batgirl on, which is
Yeah.
another thing they just debuted the first episode of Comic-Con
That's right,
for,
that's right, yeah.
Which did I watch the trailer with you or did I show it
I
to you?
watched it after. I watched the trailer after.
Yeah.
It was a little.
It was too much.
Little on the nose. I don't think the actual show is going to be like that.
I'm hoping not.
Yeah,
I'll
didn't
check
think,
it out.
Yeah, I didn't think that I think they cut the trailer that way. Anyway,
I'm a woman. I was like, okay, come on, let's calm down.
yeah, I don't know if the show is actually going to be cut like that because that's an editing choice. I don't think that's a theme that they're gonna like really force down your throat.
Yeah.
I'm giving them benefit of the doubt. I think I'll
hope
I'll check it out.
The character design's great. Ruby Rose looks
Oh, she looks
fantastic.
great. Yeah, she
in
looks
both
great.
costume and out, like just good. It looks lines up.
I'll watch it as soon as I watch all the rest of the other CW shows. But yes, Crisis on Infinite Earths with the Monitor.
You might actually like
looks cool.
Supergirl the most. Actually,
I
now
think
I'm
so
thinking about it.
because
It's
I'm
really
a
good
big
show.
Martian Manhunter fan.
and that's another
it.
one of these.
You sent me
shows.
that video
Yeah.
of when, spoilers for Supergirl.
It's 3 seasons in.
Yeah.
If you don't know the Martian Manhunter's on the show,
Yeah, because he's pretending to be Hank Henshaw. I'm like, oh, he's going to be the Terminator Superman or
Yeah.
Terminator Cyborg Superman.
Cyborgs, yeah.
And then he turns out to be the Martian Manhunter. You sent me that video. I was like, whoa.
yeah.
I think I gotta watch the show. It was that, and then you sent me a video of the Flash where fucking randomly King Shark shows up, and I'm like, oh, there is a TV show with King Shark and the Martian Manhunter on it. I'm like, I should be happier than a pig in shit, but I just haven't had the I don't know if I've had the time, but like everyone says they don't have time for stuff. It's like, oh, I don't play video games because I don't have time. I don't watch TV shows because I don't have time.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's a real thing.
Yeah.
Time is a real thing that
Yeah.
you need to manage, unfortunately. And I have to choose between a show like The Sinner, which I'm really excited about, but is a totally different sort of genre than this stuff, which is there's so much of it in
Yeah.
all of their individual sort of like columns, and I want to see them all, but then I can't see any.
Do you watch
know?
shows on your phone?
I haven't wanted to have it get to that point.
Okay.
I know that a lot of people watch them on the train and in the subway and the bus, and I've got a decent ride to work, but I'm listening to audiobooks typically during that time, so I'm trying to get through some reading. So it's like, but I also don't want to watch them on a small screen. I've always been so against that.
Yeah.
Even for TV shows, because these TV shows, even though they're CW shows and they don't have like the massive budget of like an HBO show, the effects I think are still pretty good.
Yeah,
they're
they do
decent.
quite well. I've gotten to getting really familiar with watching stuff on my phone just because it's the easiest way to consume content wherever you go. I'm going to do something in the kitchen. I got a little stand on my phone, put it down, put something on that I know that I'm going to digest without needing to watch it that intently.
Yeah.
If something's going on, I can watch it.
Yeah.
But then if it's just like, bunch of guys in a room talking about what their plan's going to be, it's like I don't really need to watch that.
No, you're right. You're not wrong. I just need to get over my elitist attitude about. I always like to be immersed, so I always like to pay attention.
Yeah.
Unless it's something I've seen before. If it's something I have seen before, then I watch dishes to like movies that I've seen before
Right.
and stuff like that, or
I'm the same
shows
way.
that I've seen before. I can't rip my eyes away from something I haven't seen before. So it's hard for me to do something while something's on that I haven't seen before that I'm interested in.
True.
So it's like a 1 or a 0 for me. Either I'm sitting there watching it or I'm doing something else.
Right.
So
that makes sense. I mean, it's a type of experience where whatever it is you're watching, you can tune out of visually for a few minutes or whatever, and then go back into if you want. So for instance, like when I was going through Arrow, there would be times where they'd be talking about whatever it was they were talking about, and you know the sets that they're in.
Yeah.
You've seen them in there enough. You know the characters that are talking by voice. You don't have to actually look to see who's saying what.
Yeah.
I don't need to watch them talk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can just do whatever I'm doing. And then all of a sudden when they go to another environment or they're interacting with new characters, it's like, well, let me look and see what that is.
Yeah.
Granted, it delays me and sets me off course of whatever it is
Sure.
I'm actually doing.
Sure.
But it's a good way to kind of consume what you can while you're doing other
yeah, no, it's a
things
good
as
way
well.
to. Yeah, no, you're right. It's a compromise. Is
It's
really what you're doing.
absolutely
It's like
a compromise.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
If you don't
I just
wanna
need to be
compromise.
okay with the compromise. That's all. I haven't gotten to that point yet.
Got to get over your elitist attitude
Yeah.
between that and natural disasters that feature either sharks or zombies.
Anyways, one other thing that I've done that I wanted to tell everybody about. We won't spend too much time on it. I saw Midsummer, which is Ari Aster's second movie. He directed Hereditary, which we haven't seen yet. I was saving it for the Drinking with Skeletons show. It is a long movie. It is a slow burn, and it is oddly hilarious. The movie is actually quite funny. If you can get past these three things, it's actually quite the trip. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it very much. I heard that the director's cut is 30 minutes longer. Probably I'll check that out because I'm curious, right? But that's not they don't need 30 minutes on this movie.
Okay.
I don't think. It is the most epic breakup film you will ever see. That is what this movie is. It's
something I
it's
don't wanna watch.
personifying a breakup of a slow diseased relationship and what the personification of those emotions are, and it really it personifies them to the point where the audience is literally watching physical embodiments of a relationship falling apart, and that takes many different forms during the movie. It's beautifully shot, beautifully scored. I think people should see it. It's interesting, but it is. I can see what would put people off. The run time is long.
How long is the movie?
2.5. It's just over 2.5 hours, I think.
Fuck.
So 30 minutes on top of that makes that a 3-hour movie. Oof. And that's it's a tough sit through, but I enjoyed it. Yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say about that.
My brother, I was talking to him and he's like, I just saw Shazam. I'm like, what'd you think? He's like, what do you think? I'm like, it was too long. He's like, yeah. That's his like fucking no, but that's Mike. That's his.
Was that movie long?
It was probably 2, just under 2.
Was it?
I'd guess. But that's Mike's review on literally any movie that's like over an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah,
that he's got a very low threshold for time.
He should watch Crawl. I think Mike would enjoy Crawl because
sure.
It is 87 minutes.
There needs to be no fat on a movie. He wants anorexic movies. That's what Mike's deal is.
This movie is bulimic like you wouldn't believe.
Oh,
like
good.
it is just like it is completely a lean, mean killing machine. Mikey, go watch Crawl, and even if you don't like the movie, you can't come back and say it's too long. At least we got rid of that criticism.
I remember there was another reason I brought up the CW universe because there was something else interesting that came, I'm assuming, out of Comic-Con. I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name, but the guy that plays Superman, Tyler Hoechlin? I think it's Hoechlin.
You're going to be like, you don't know how to pronounce Brandon Routh's name?
No, I know how to pronounce that. Yeah, Tyler, I think it's Hoechlin.
Yeah.
And Brandon Routh are coming back as Superman in this series.
Pretty cool.
That's great. I need a Tom Welling appearance. I need my Smallville.
Yeah, you need the Tom Welling.
I need
you know
a
what?
little Smallville in that.
Now
bitch.
there's a show I couldn't get behind. Like when I talk about, we've had this discussion a lot. I feel like when we first met in first year university, you were a big Smallville fan, and then we started talking comics or whatever, and you would talk about Smallville, and I'd be like, I think I actually can't be your friend. Because I just can't get behind. Because I remember I've told you about this before, but just for the sake of all of our Mexican viewers, the the first episode I've ever seen of Smallville was some crazy one with like a black magic magician turning that could turn into a giant snake. It was like the weirdest. It was that show ran for so.
What the fuck you're talking about.
That show ran for so many seasons that I feel like
10.
10 seasons.
I don't even want to
seasons.
Oh no.
Oh my god,
Oh,
10
no.
seasons. And I feel like the episode I saw would just rub me completely. Oh, and I don't know if it was Lois or Lana is the one that's featured on the show.
Lana's featured on the show for the
So
most
Lana Lang is doing crazy kung fu moves, and it was like the kind of the wuxia like Hong Kong action Chinese one. I saw that one too, and I'm like, what am I watching? This is insane. How can you like this? Yeah. So it's so basically
very much out of context. You've got to see the character progression along the way.
Oh,
And keep in
I
mind-
know.
hold on.
I know.
Let me
I'm
stop
just like,
because I want to go on record saying I don't think Smallville's a great show. I'm not going to say that I don't own all 10 seasons on DVD because I do. I'll show you them after.
You own all the Sharknado movies too.
Oh no! I thought you were going to question them. I'm like, we'll get those DVDs right now. They're right there. You know what? The first season was very episode of the week, and it was kind of new.
Oh, it was different.
It was different. It was kind of when prequels were becoming kind of a popular thing.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, let's see what this is. And it was very episodic in that, like, there wasn't really a running theme for the entire first season for the most part. I think there might have been like one thread, but it got you kind of hooked to the characters. And then the second season came out and it was better. Third season came out and it was actually better. Like the first 5 seasons of the show were pretty damn good.
Yeah.
And then it turned to dog shit. But
yeah,
it's
I must have
still...
caught something post 5.
Oh yeah. You got something pretty bad. But the thing is, of those last 5 seasons that they had, there were some outlier episodes that were pretty great. Like, there was a JSA episode.
So I haven't even seen those,
Like,
and I should watch. I should watch that because Dr. Fate is on those, and like Hawkman and Hawkwoman or Hawkgirl are on those.
I don't think Hawkgirl
Those
is on
are
there.
just
I think they
Hawkman.
might have had her in a flashback briefly.
Hawkman, but I'm
The
a
effects
big
are
Doctor.
bad for Hawkman. It's not
The
good.
CG are they CG wings?
I don't even remember if they're CG wings. The practical wings were bad, let alone the CG wings. All of it was bad.
You can
like
hear
some
like,
of the flying
like
effects.
cranking of like them like unfolding the wings in the background.
We should watch. I should show you an episode after this. And just show you how bad some of it could be. But like, there's some actually really good moments and some good character moments and good development. What's his name? Michael Rosenbaum's one of my favorite Luthers of all time.
And he's the voice of the Flash on the Justice League.
That's correct.
Unlimited.
He does a lot of voice work actually.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, Smallville, I'm not going to go on record defending as saying it's a great show. It's a show I liked.
Look,
that
I
will go as far as
judged it based on 2 episodes randomly selected.
Yeah, you
and
picked
they
some
were
bad
both
ones.
very, very bad. I'm not going to say it's an awful show, but I picked 2 episodes at random, and I was just, like, I don't even know what I'm watching. But that doesn't mean that's that's a bad show. It just means I have really awful luck because there's 10 seasons to choose from, and I chose 2 really bad episodes. Brandon Routh coming back as Superman Returns Superman.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's not super stocky in this one.
And boring.
Yeah. But no, I think that Brandon Routh is a decent Superman. Again, he falls into exactly the same category as Henry Cavill in that I don't think that he's been given the right material. I feel like both of them can be good Supermen.
Yeah.
But the movies that they built around them weren't good. They weren't solid movies. Superman Returns, I think, was so boring. I remember watching it in the theater and leaving and being like, "What the fuck was that?"
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what I'm like. I was.
It was basically Superman 1 all over again, just depressing.
Yeah, depressing
and ravey.
Yeah,
really.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Did I ever tell you how I wish Justice League ended? Did I ever tell you that?
I'm gonna bring it on.
So
let's
look,
hear this.
Here's what I was hoping for at the end of Justice League, the movie.
Yeah. As opposed to the porn parody.
Yeah, JLX, the porn parody.
Nice.
I just made that up. I don't know if that's actually a real thing. But are you looking up JLX?
I was going to, but then I decided
probably
to control W that
JLXXX maybe.
Probably.
But at the end of the movie, after defeating whatever the villain would, in this case it was Steppenwolf, but at the time it didn't really matter in my head. I was just picturing them all sort of being like, gathering themselves after he's been defeated, and this like wind picks up and this portal opens up, and then like someone stumbles out, comes running out of the portal, like stumbles out and like rolls onto the ground, and it's just kind of like it's all this dust and shit. You can't see who it is, and they're all like trying to see who came out of this random portal and like came stumbling across the ground. And he gets up and he like dusts himself off, and it's Grant Gustin from like the Flash TV show. And he just be like, "Oh, hey guys," and it shows Ezra Miller and him like looking at each other, being like, "What the fuck?" And then the movie ends.
Yeah.
Because they're doing it right now.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they're doing. They're essentially crossing over, an older Superman. I don't know if that's actually going to be him, or they're going to try and make it seem like it's another. He's playing a different Superman from another.
It'll be from
another
world.
Earth.
Yeah.
From another Earth, but will it be the Earth of Superman Returns? Like that's the kind of thing. It doesn't really matter in this case, but like in the case of Grant Gustin coming out like that sort of like. Fantasy ending of Justice League, to be like establish that there are multiple realities as soon as you can, because then you can start playing that playground. Is absolutely huge. Right, it's absolutely huge, and you can start you basically giving yourself a wide berth. Now you can be super creative.
Well, that's how they brought Supergirl into the Flash.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, okay, she's not she's not in the same world as them. Flash actually crosses over to her world, whatever Earth it is, and brings her over. Yeah. So they've had so many good episodes. They had this one crossover episode that was a complete musical, and I feel like it might have been Mxyzptlk.
Mxyzptlk.
Yeah, whatever his name is.
So the last thing I wanted to mention, John Carpenter is co-writing a Joker comic book. I don't know if you saw that.
I saw that. Yeah. What do you know about that?
Carpenter is he's doing. There's a series going on in DC Comics called. Year of the Villain.
We were just watching a video on
that, right? Yeah, Year of the Villain, where Lex Luthor has become some kind of like alien hybrid, and he's basically offering all of humanity a way to give in to their more selfish nature. This is kind of my meager understanding of this. I haven't read any of the stuff leading up to it yet. I'm just sort of waiting until it's all done and then read it all after. But what's happening is that all of these villains and heroes might be taking him up on his offer, but the Joker is like, in a world where everyone is bad, like how is he gonna stand out? So that's the story that Carpenter's gonna be writing with the co-writer, and I can't remember his name, but they wrote a one-shot book together called Big Trouble in Little China, Old Man Jack, which I haven't read yet, but I'm pretty excited to read. Just the idea of Jack Burton after he's aged forever. It sounds like a very sort of humorous take on the character, but yeah, Carpenter's writing a Joker comic. That's kind of cool.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, if anybody can take an interesting take, or put an interesting take on the Joker character, I think Carpenter can probably say something fairly unique than what's been out there already. Yeah,
absolutely. I'm
trying to see who the co-writer is.
Philip Tan? Philip Tan is the artist, who's actually really talented. I've known about Philip, like I've read Philip Tan, seen his art, reading books where he has been drawing since like the 90s.
Also, Mark Deering is also providing art for the books. If you've ever heard of him. He's done Star Wars, Dr. Aphra, and the Black Order. So he worked with Philip Tan on the Black Order because they both worked on that together.
Philip Tan did a book called The Spirit of Tao for Top Cow in like the mid to late 90s, and that's something that I remember him from. But he's a really talented artist. So yeah, there's something worth mentioning, and it's going to be a one-shot, 40-page story. Okay. So I think it's probably worth checking out. So.
And also on the Carpenter thing, I'm going to keep this short because this blew me away. I didn't actually read this until I think you were watching a video, and that's when I heard it. Is that they're doing back-to-back sequels 2020 and 2021 for Halloween?
For Halloween 2018, they are making 2 sequels to that movie, and the director...
David Gordon Green.
David Gordon Green is directing both. And they're doing... It's called Halloween Kills 2020.
Yep.
And then 2021, it's Halloween Ends. And this is fantastic news to me. I rewatched 2018 Halloween...
Yeah.
Fairly recently. I bought it on 4K. and I watched it, and I'm like, it still holds up. Like,
Yeah.
I was on a high after watching that movie, and I think that high, probably kind of blinded me a little bit to some of its odd quirks and faults.
Yeah.
But watching it again, I was able to recognize all of them and be like, that's okay. I'm actually still, this movie is still very good in my eyes. In particular, the scene about the banh mi sandwich of those two cops in the car was, I think I even thought that was, I can't remember what, in our review that we did, whether we mentioned that or not, but it's just like a random,
On rewatch, it was out of place.
completely out of place. Why is that there? I think it's only there because those cops are eventually killed.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to do something to make sure people recognize who they are or why they're there or anything like that. So,
But banh mi sandwiches, though delicious, not really a great segue between scenes.
yeah.
It was strange.
Yeah,
Strange
especially in a Halloween film as intense as the one that they put together. So, but I still listen to the score.
Oh,
For that
it's great.
movie. It's
Yeah.
so good. It's so good. The score for that movie is so good. So I'm really excited. I hope Carpenter and Cody Carpenter and his godson, I hope they all do the music for the next two movies too, man. I really hope so. And I think they will, because Carpenter is a musician now primarily, right? Like,
Yeah.
And, well, you know, he's writing the Joker comic, but
Yeah.
he's also, but like he's got
dabbles.
his musical.
Musical? Can you speak?
Yeah, musical.
All right, give it a shot.
His
Go ahead.
musical career is like taking off, right? He's been doing tours and stuff and all. And so like that's his
I
focus.
wouldn't call it a musical career. I'd say
He's released 3 albums and he's been touring. I'd say that's a musical. That is a second coming for him, man.
I
Like
guess so. I didn't think about the albums. I'm just thinking about the
Lost Themes.
concert that we saw.
Yeah.
Was just him basically on a keyboard, pressing down on like 2 or 3 keys at a time, and then the rest of the band was doing most of the work, and he just put up his hands like, yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. And then everybody else in the background's doing way more work. He's like, yeah. Like for the Halloween theme, I'm pretty sure.
Dude, that drummer has got arthritis now because he's doing the Halloween theme.
Yeah.
And there is a synth. I'm pretty sure it was a synthetic thing on the keyboard that they had done for the original theme, where it was the. It's literally like a ticking sound.
Yeah.
And the poor drummer had to play that for 3 minutes straight. Just. And he's just like smashing those. I don't know, but it's like a muffled cymbal or something like that.
But he's doing the, and then you've got the other guy doing. Like, I think it was his godson was doing. Din, 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 din,
Yeah,
din,
he's
din,
playing
din,
it,
din,
yeah.
din, din. And then he's over on the fucking keyboards like. Brr, brr. He's like, yeah. Brr, brr. I was like, yo, let's put the hand down. If you can play anything with one hand, you're not trying that hard.
He has earned it, as far as I'm concerned. He could sit up there and do nothing and just raise his hands. Carpenter has
playing
absolutely.
the fucking keyboard with his dick. He's just, it's like Mr. Carpenter.
Please put.
We
that
know
away.
you've made some classic scores, but put it away.
Can you please
Play with your hands, please.
Oh my
But
god!
I will say this: that was one of the funnest concerts I've ever went
man,
to.
it was so funny.
because it was a lot of fun in that, like, you know, you've got him there playing these classical scores. I mean, he's a fucking god of cinema.
Oh,
in my
dude,
opinion,
seriously,
right?
yeah.
And on top of that, you've got the movies playing in the background, some of which we hadn't seen, which was entertaining too. Because there was a couple that were watching some of this stuff. There was one in particular that was bananas looking.
Where he was in, I think he was an actor in that. He
might have been.
Yeah.
But there was some crazy stuff happening. Mark Hamill's in one of them too.
Yeah, oh, that's
He's
right.
in a couple of them, actually.
I know you haven't seen Prince of Darkness
No,
yet.
I haven't.
You should watch that because that's basically a Big Trouble in Little China reunion.
Oh,
There's a lot of people from Big Trouble in that movie. But yeah, Carpenter is not. He's not a personality on stage. But you know,
He's got some. He's not.
I think that he's been trained, because they're like, look, you're playing like lead keys on the Halloween score.
Yeah.
You're not doing a whole lot if you're playing the lead. I don't know what they call it, the lead keys or whatever, but he's playing
He's rhythm. He's not the lead.
Well,
He's
whatever.
barely
No, but like that. He's
not doing
that's
that.
but no, but that's not the lead, isn't it? Isn't the like? Isn't that like?
I think that's
the
more rhythm. I'm thinking like in Metallica, Hetfield's the rhythm guitar. He
Yeah.
plays more the rhythmic track that kind of keeps things in line. Whereas
Okay, so like
Kirk Hammett is the guy that does most of the complex guitar work. Not that Hetfield can't do it.
Okay.
It's just that's the division.
Okay, so I'm using the wrong terms. I guess what
Yeah.
I mean to say, the prominent thing, the prominent thing that stands out, like it's the moment of music, as opposed to the repeated pattern. It's that moment
Right,
where you
yes.
like, this is the Halloween theme. Because if you just played the keyboards, it doesn't hit you as hard until that like heavy sort of synthesized sound comes in.
Yes,
right? Like,
yeah.
So I mean, like, he doesn't have a lot to do in that case, right? So he's gotta have that presence.
Yes.
And he decides to raise his hand. I think that is a perfectly reasonable thing to do under those circumstances.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that just means he's not really doing much.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, just because...
Look, he did the work in like 1978.
Oh, yeah,
when
he
that
did
movie
the
came out.
hard
He did
work years ago.
The hard
No,
work's
no,
been done.
no
He's just
question.
cashing in. Carpenter, every time you listen to that guy in an interview, he's like, it's like, so how involved were you in the remake of The Fog? Or like,
Fuck
whatever.
you!
He doesn't say, fuck him. The DJ Khaled fucking style. Well, like, he doesn't say that. He says, he's like, well, I was
consulted.
he's like, I was consulted,
Yeah.
and I was involved in as much as I held out my hand, and they put a check into it.
Yeah.
Like, he's found really creative ways to answer that question and basically explain that I did it for the money. Mm-hmm. So that's the ice cream truck.
That's the ice cream truck, and that's John Carpenter's musical career.
Anyway, so
If he was out there, he'd be the guy that's like not playing that. He's the guy that turns on the thing and just puts up his hand. He's like,
the ice cream,
"Ice cream, motherfuckers." That's John Carpenter. He's not the guy that made this track. He's not playing this on the.
He's not
diddly diddly diddly.
He's just sticking his head out the window and be like,
"Ice cream." I don't know why he's like a metal guy. That's for some reason I pictured Carpenter.
no, he
being a
is.
metal
He is.
guy.
He does the the fucking devil horns thing.
Yeah, good for him. God bless him.
We should close this episode out.
Yeah, I want to go to a bar. You want to go to a bar?
Yeah, let's go to a bar.
All right, we're gonna meet up with Tig. Tig, if you're listening, this is us coming to you. Maybe. I don't know. I gotta find out where you are. Anyways, this has been fun.
Yeah.
I just like shooting the shit.
Yeah, no, these are fun episodes. I think we'll probably do more of these. In between, like, we both saw Spider-Man, so I just want to let it... Saw Spider-Man.
Yeah, we'll be doing an episode.
We'll be doing an
Spider-Man
episode
at
on,
some
so that's
point.
why I didn't really want to talk about it here. I have some feelings about Spider-Man.
I want to see Crawl too. Crawl.
Yo, if you watch Crawl, I'll do
can
a
do an episode
review.
on
Yeah, I'll
that.
do an episode on Crawl. Get Mikey to watch Crawl. I'm just interested in hearing what he has to
message
say.
his ass
See
right
if
now.
he can spare 87 minutes from his very busy schedule to check this movie out. I'd be curious to hear what he says about it. But
Hey, have you talked to Sadeep? Has he heard my plea?
no, I don't think he's heard it. I don't think he's heard it.
I'm gonna drag him into the next podcast.
Get
in here.
Kicking and screaming. Get over here.
Yeah. Yeah. Second to last episode. I bitched out Sadeep at least for like 30 straight seconds.
Yeah. We got. We're waiting on him for the.
We haven't really pursued him.
For the Pet Cemetery,
Sematary, yeah.
which is still worth talking about.
Oh, for sure.
But
'Cause
you did a lot of Pet Cemetery. I feel like
I did
leading
book.
up. You did the book.
Yes.
You did the original '80s movie, and then
Yep.
you watched this movie. I'm like, that is a lot.
Yeah.
Of grief.
Sam had my sister had the book
Yeah.
at the house. I was like, I want to watch this.
That's a
or
lot.
Read this.
That is a lot of grief in a very short amount of time. I feel like you must have been deranged after watching it, like, and reading all of
I
that
was
shit.
not good.
Yeah, I was not
I was
feeling good
I was
about
having
yourself.
problems.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That is right. But yeah, we'll get him on the show, and you know what? Yeah, we'll get him on the show. Whether he likes it or not, he'll be here.
That's
Next headline.
Yeah.
Little brown man goes missing.
Tall Italian guy, the suspect. Seen dragging him, kicking and screaming out of his house.
I feel like every episode that we don't do that we don't do that we haven't done the review for.
We're just
we
gonna
should just
bitch him
talk
out?
about just talk about Sudeep at the end of the episode and see when he notices.
Yeah. Because he clearly hasn't listened to the last couple ones. I'm like,
That's
yo,
right.
well, at least the second.
He only
to last
listens
one.
to the ones that he's on. Let's be honest.
What a
if I were
bastard.
guesting on a podcast,
Guesting?
yeah,
Oh, guesting. Sorry.
yeah.
I
What
thought you
is
were
it?
saying- Okay. Want to finish this?
Yeah. All right. This has been the Welcome to Your Doom shit show.
Shit show.
Yeah, that's right. I am Atul.
I am Justin.
And that's it. We'll see you guys later, man. Thanks for listening.
Cheers.
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 Drunk.